Pokémon Legends Arceus, honestly one of my favorite Pokemon related experiences, was absolutely filled with characters. Many of them implied to be the ancestors of others we've met before. I honestly love the designs of just about everyone in this game, and now that we've had Legends Arceus for an entire year, why not take a look back at some of them? I think for now I'll just focus on the Diamond and Pearl clans because that's already 12 characters, so what better place to begin than with Animan? Obviously, as a leader of the Diamond clan, he's got a lot going on, but it all relates back to Dialga. Of course, his name sounds like adamant, as in adamant orb. He's even standing like the letter A, and as expected, the symbol of the Diamond clan even looks like the adamant orb, being all jagged. But this pentagon shape is seen all throughout Adamant's clothing specifically. You can see it in the diamond in his choker, the pendant on his necklace, and the front of his coat. Even his hair is shaped like a pentagon if you squint just hard enough. We do even see that while he's younger, not officially the leader, he keeps his hair down. I do like how decorated he looks. He is meant to be the leader of the clan after all, so being able to distinguish him from the other members, while still having him appear to be from the same group, is perfect. But behind every great leader is an even greater older sister, and that's where Mai comes in. And this is one reason I love the Diamond and Pearl clans. Even if they aren't related by blood, they still form the strongest families in Hisui. So while Mai is the ancestor of Marley, you can tell they have the same hairstyle, she drops the gothic aesthetic and instead has the big sister vibes. Though she has a pretty basic build, I love how the designs of her clothing set her apart. Ursaring on her shoulder for the one that she grew up with, and Stantler for the ones found in the Obsidian Fieldlands and would evolve into Weirdeer, which she serves as a warden, having the ring for on her wrist. Again, most everyone else in the clan will be wearing the same thing more or less, but it's cool seeing the little ways in which they bring their own style. Eresu is one of the next Diamond Clan Wardens that we meet. She has even more color in her hair. Being the ancestor of Mars, she would obviously need some more red. The same hairstyle and color carries over, but we also see some red in her stitching and tights. She is definitely a solid character, like in the concept art they even make an effort to point out she's pear-shaped, obviously an identifying feature. She's even given an alternate pose that kind of mirrors Mars. One thing I like is that because she's interested in hairstyling, it makes sense for her to have a brighter hair color. But having her satchel situated higher up on her body makes me think it's meant to show that she works with her hands. I wouldn't doubt if she keeps scissors in there. Also in her base art, the exact emblem of her ring is hidden, which helped to hide the fact that she was the warden for Hisui and Lilligant, when she was revealed in a trailer first. Though Iscan was revealed roughly alongside the Pokemon he was the warden of, and this dude is built. I feel like because he wears the usual Diamond Clan coat, you don't see it immediately, but this man's is an absolute unit. It's funny too that it contrasts with his personality, being afraid of ghost Pokemon, but it just shows how irrational his fear is because he's clearly extremely capable, but it does make for some nice contrast. Him being a big strong guy who's very kind and a bit of a scaredy cat. His head is a nice round shape to communicate that, as well as his eyes being a bit smaller than other characters. Yet another man of the sea, he's got his fishing rod at the ready, and the pouches at the front again being closer to his upper body make him seem well prepared, and just like the other wardens, he has a ring for his noble. But now we go from the friendliest Diamond Clan member to the most abrasive. While I was immediately put off of Melee upon first meeting him, I quickly saw the charm that he brought to the group. He's just a little mischievous, just a little goof. Interesting that he's actually wearing the hood part of his uniform that we only normally see the less important characters wearing, but Melee makes it look more like a beanie with how it's fitted on his head, and how his long hair flows out of it. I don't know if we've settled on a character he could be an ancestor to, but I find it curious how his hair ends in shapes reminiscent of waves or tails, and the fact that it's a bluish purple that on one hand looks like something for a water type trainer also fits the poison type. Yet another case of adding some designs. I love the flowers on his hood and the electrode on his body. This one directly represents the noble Pokemon alongside the ring. Amazing how you can have a character who gives off this arrogant vibe while still appearing elegant and at least a little approachable. Apparently he's even got a nice singing voice. And now we move on to the last and youngest member of the Diamond Clan, Sabi. Another design that brings a lot of color with her green hair, leggings, and hat. And on top of that, the big ol' hat comes with some big ol' gloves to stay warm in the cold regions of Hisui. Once again, the word of the day is contrast, which makes for fun character designs. Small girl with big hat and big gloves and big Pokemon too? What the heck is this team? She's mostly green against the white snow. Fitting color choice because that lets us know she's the ancestor of Cheryl. Also with the way her hair is braided and the loose little hair in the middle of her face. Unlike most characters, she has bright blue pupils, a hint at her psychic powers, which were a bit ambiguous in the game but are basically confirmed now. She wears her warden ring on a string around her neck, and at first I thought this was because she was so young it wouldn't even fit her, but then I realized it's because she needs some way to have it visible while still wearing the big gloves. But that just about wraps up the Diamond Clan's important characters. I think there's some pretty good variety amongst them, though honestly there's even more when we start to look at the Pearl Clan. First off is their leader, Irida. As you'd expect, she has some similar features to Animan as ways to separate her from the other members. She also has a necklace, so this one with a pearl inside, as well as accessories like the bracelets meant to have the shape of a circle representing the pearl emblem. The shape of her hair is even round. With her hair being only one color, the headband is a nice way to break things up, and it was even a gift which further plays into her relationship with the older members of the clan. For the most part, her clothing is a lot less, well, less. I know it's explained as her just being someone who retains heat better, but it helps with making her look less experienced or prepared on the surface. But that's what is tested over the course of the story, and she overcomes her doubts and proves a capable leader of her people. The first other Pearl Clan member we encounter is Leon, and the first thing we notice about him is the big ol' hat, because it's obviously the same hat more or less that Clay wears in Pokemon Black and White. This was an interesting choice, though I assume he's only small because he's young and hasn't fully grown yet. But like I said, the word of the day is contrast. He does have fluffy hair just like Clay, but the color is a bit lighter. Combined with the lighter colors of the Pearl Clan outfit make him come off as a little friendlier, even though he's still got a bit of a tough exterior. But going back to the hat, it's a nice way of having him appear active. It's not necessarily a fashion statement, but it's something you need to wear when you're out working to keep the sun from your eyes. His clothes are a bit more roughed up and dirty, showing that he's been at work. He's also got a pickaxe on him at all times in case you gotta mine some ore. All very fitting as he's the warden of a rock Pokemon, Kleavor, as we see on the ring. Calaba was the surprise best woman in Pokemon Legends Arceus, one of the oldest characters we've seen in the game at the ripe age of 99, though the concept art gives us a peek at how she used to look in her youth. It seems like she used to have her hair partially covering her face, which hid the birthmark under her left eye, or it could just be a liver spot that comes with age. And also with that age came a shorter stature, though she doesn't seem to be missing a beat, still out in the Crimson Mirelands and serving as the noble to Ursaluna, carrying with her all these huge plants that just add to her design, and I can't explain why I love it, but I just do. I feel like I've said it too much already. With Calaba being the oldest and most traditionalist member of the Pearl Clan, I like how her hair is a short bob, because it looks like it would be easy to maintain with the hood of the uniform. Also, aside from the backpack and scarf, there isn't much customization to her outfit. The rest of the members look very different, the next one being Polina. Though her clothing is nothing radical, just being appropriate for converting to swimming, inspired by actual traditional Japanese diving. The color is still the same as the rest of the Pearl Clan, and she has the emblem on her apron and bandana. This combines with her goggles to keep her hydrodynamic and attentive underwater. And continuing with the active members, we have Garrick, another buff dude who isn't afraid of showing off. I love how he still keeps the Pearl Clan jacket but just wears it around his waist while he works out, but being one of the people who helped train Irida, I guess it makes sense that they're both very used to a colder climate. He's able to keep the Pearl Clan emblem in his design on his chest, but is that supposed to be a tattoo, or is it like chest hair because they're the same color? I mean, he definitely shaves carefully enough to keep the pattern on his beard, so I mean, it could be possible. But even with Garrick foregoing a shirt, he does still keep the braces and the Warden ring. And lastly, we have Ingo. Wait a minute, this is supposed to be about the Diamond and Pearl clans, not the battle facility leaders? Ah, that's more like it. Oh boy, everybody's favorite tortured soul, Ingo. Sent back in time and adopted into the Pearl clan, he does wear the usual pink uniform, but he keeps a lot of his old clothing from his original look. The coat is nearly torn to shreds, losing the large cuffs and a lot of its volume. The shoes and pants look to be in good shape. And good thing he kept the hat because we now know his hairline wasn't doing too well without it. At least he grew a beard. It's actually kind of amazing how they were able to fit Ingo in as a member of the Pearl clan, even a warden, while still making him look like a broken man out of time by layering both his old and new clothing. It's all still visually identifiable and keeps the same color scheme more or less. And he can still strike his iconic poses, but at the end of the day he has a different silhouette. One that doesn't necessarily make him a different character, but shows him in a different place after an extreme experience. But that has been every member of the Diamond and Pearl clan in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I love these groups so much, getting to see they just want to do what's best for their own people while also looking toward peace with the opposite group, eventually seeing eye to eye and coming together as an even larger family who all look out for each other. Despite being a character warped back in time against their will, it made Hisui feel even more like a home. I decided to focus mostly on them because there were already 12 characters and at least half of them weren't shown in the trailers before the game's release. And because of that, in the years since, I haven't really mentioned any of them in videos. So what better way to celebrate the anniversary of one of my favorite Pokemon experiences? And so let me know which members are your favorites, and if you want another final roundup of some of the other characters. Maybe I'll get to it in another year or something. Truly, these games and the characters were as vast as space and enduring as time. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, especially the great Gators, Justin, Cosmo Zero, Michaela, Mr. Pig Puncher, Phantom Pyro, Quago, Volity, and Pastel Blood. If you would like to support, get your name shouted out here as well as access to emotes and comments and live streams, and maybe sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter for more memes. But anyway, this has been GatorEX, and I'll catch you all later.
Plongez dans une toute nouvelle expérience Pokémon. Répondez à l'appel de l'aventure. Légende Pokémon Arceus, le 28 janvier sur Nintendo Switch. Réservez-le dès maintenant.